Hare Hare Bhutairmahadvirayama puro vibho Nirmaya shete yadamusha purusha Bhunte gunan shodashatmaka Solam krisishta bhagavan vachamsi me Shri Krishna Sharanam Sharanagatam Katha Amritam Satata Pibatam Bhakti Vedanta Marga Panthanam Sarvaloka Rishideva Janna Prasannam Sarvaloka Rishideva Janna Prasannam. Hare Krishna, dear Prabhupada and Mataji, welcome to the morning Bhagavatam sessions. So we'll continue with this wonderful verse discussion spoken by Sūta Gosvāmī in response to the question of the sages in Naimisharanya, that if Sukadeva Goswami was already liberated and on the stage of ātmārāmas, self-satisfaction, and he had realized practically Brahma Jnana, Brahma realization of the absolute impersonal, rather impersonal feature of the Supreme Absolute, then what was the need for him to undergo the study of Bhāgavatam, which is all about Krishna? And in response to that, this 10th verse of 7th chapter is spoken. Would anyone like to recite this verse?
I can recite, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji.
Ātmārāmas Sūta uvacha ātmārāmascha munayo nirgrantho api urukrame kurvanti ahitukim bhaktim ittam bhuta guno hari.
Translation to Mataji.
Sūta Gosvāmī said, all different varieties of ātmārāmas, those who take pleasure in the ātmā or spirit self, especially those established on the path of self-realization, though freed from all kinds of material bondage, desire to render unalloyed devotional service unto the personality of Godhead. This means that the Lord possesses transcendental qualities and therefore can attract everyone, including liberated souls.
Thank you so much, Mataji. So, Sukadeva Goswami was an ātmārāma. What does ātmārāma exactly mean? In many places in Bhagavad Gita describes it. Brahma bhuta prasannātmā nasochati na kamshati. One who is established in the Brahma Gyan or impersonal Brahma realization. He doesn't have any hankering. He doesn't have any lamentation. Lamentation means sochati and hankering means kamshati. Krishna also in the 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita says, Prajahati yada kaman, that a personality who has simply given up all desire for sense gratification, which arises simply out of sarva manogatan. It arises from just the concoction of mind. It's not real. Prajahati yada kaman sarva parathan manogatan. And what he is, where he is established, ātmanyevatmanatushtaha. He's just situated in the self and he's satisfied in the self. Ātmanyevatmanatushta tasya pragna pratishtita. Krishna says such a person is of steady intelligence. And he further goes on to say, Dukkeshu anudvigmanaha. He may get miseries along his way, but his mind is not afflicted by the miseries. And sukheshu vigadasruhaha. And he may get happiness, but he is not succumb by the pleasures of happiness. He doesn't become elated. We see some people, they become very happy, and then the next moment they become very sad. But a person who is delighting within himself, he is free from these oscillations of happiness and miseries, and therefore in real terms they are happy. Why? Because Krishna goes on to say, Vita raga bhaya krodha. Vita means they are free. They're free from raga, attachment, vita raga, bhaya, they're free from fear. If they are not attached, then there's no fear of loss. And when there is no fear of loss, no attachment, krodha, there is no question of anger. Such a person is always calm, equipoised, unaffected by any situation that is around them. So then the question is that such a person who has nothing to do with anything, who is just satisfied within themselves, why would such a person undergo the study of Srīmad Bhāgavatam or be attracted to Srīmad Bhāgavatam? The answer lies in this fact. We looked that Krishna maintains the material world by his external potency, Maya. Krishna maintains the spiritual world by his 6 opulences, and Krishna maintains his planet Goloka simply by love. He nourishes and maintains everyone. So the happiness derived from the sense gratification, bhakti, is like a one drop of happiness that is in comparison to Brahma Jnana or a realization of impersonal Brahman, in which Sūta Gosvāmī was situated in. It is said, Brahmam tu Swakyam tu Anantam. It's unlimited happiness compared to material enjoyment. So the important thing for us to understand is that we think material life is pleasurable. However, that is only one drop of happiness compared to impersonal realization, which compared to material enjoyment is unlimited. However, Bhagavan realization compared to impersonal realization is unlimited. In comparison of Bhagavan realization, Krishna Bhakti, Kurvantim Ahitukim Bhaktim, devotional service, unmotivated and uninterrupted onto Krishna, that is unlimited in comparison to Brahma realization. Brahma realization in comparison to Krishna Bhakti is just one drop, one bindu, as to speak. So Bhoganandi, one drop in comparison to Brahmanandi. Brahmanandi, happiness is one drop compared to Bhaktyar Nandi, the anand and the bliss and the pleasure the devotees derived. Therefore, even though Sūta Gosvāmī was completely absorbed and perfected in Brahman realization, within himself, he was satisfied. He was not hankering for anything, but nonetheless, when his ears heard the transcendental qualities of Krishna, the transcendental form of Krishna, immediately he started experiencing greater bliss, greater delight. And this in itself is a proof that this Srīmad Bhāgavatam is a Paramahamsa Grantha. Paramahamsa Grantha means even liberated living beings, they can take a pleasure and delight in it. And therefore, this is the highest of all scripture. So we're still continuing with the purport of this verse. Where did we, Jamadagni Prabhu, which was the last?
Yes, Prabhu, we're going to start from the attachment of N.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, Prabhu. The attachment of an inactive devotee develops up to the stage of transcendental love of God. Attachment of an active servitor develops up to the stage of adherence, and that for a friendly devotee develops up to the stage of following. And the same is also the case for the parental devotees. Devotees in conjugal love develop ecstasy up to the stage of intense feelings of separation. There are some of the features of unalloyed devotional service these are some of the features of the unalloyed devotees devotional service of the Lord.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So what kind of devotional service is described in this paragraph? Anyone? This comes in the introduction to Bhagavad Gita as well. So those who have studied Bhagavad Gita, they should be able to answer. The 5 kind of rasas here, or mellows.
Vatsalya, Prabhu? Vatsalya?
Yeah, very good, Prabhuji. So Vatsalya is one of them. But it starts off with inactive devotee, which is
Shanta.
Yes, very good, Mataji. Shanta.
Shant, Sakya, Dasya, Vatsalya, Madhurya.
Yeah, very good, Mataji. So Shanta is the first one. So Shanta means inactive devotee. Inactive devotee here basically means that the devotee is appreciative and becomes appreciative of the qualities of Krishna. He becomes appreciative of other devotees. He's inactive, as in he's one way not doing anything, but in another way, Purvanti applies to him because he is doing something. His doing of something is appreciation. But that appreciation, when it matures, then he cannot help but progress to dasya. Dasya means active service. He wants to do something. He's inspired by others he sees doing something, some service to the Lord. And one, when continuously starts serving in dasya rasa, then when we serve, we become close to the person. I remember when I was traveling in India and I was sharing a room with my godbrother. And once I was supposed to give a class. So I was preparing for the class. And while I was preparing for the class, unknown to me, he washed all my clothes and hung it up for drying in the terrace. And when I came back from the class to do the morning calls of washing clothes and so on, it was already done. So, and when I asked him, hey, why did you do it? And he said, no, I just did it. You were busy studying. Of course, he did not make a big deal about it. But him simply doing that simple service brought, our hearts, or rather my heart, in closer proximity to him. And our friendship further increased one level more. So the more we serve, the more the sakya, the friendship develops. So Krishna says, Bhaktosi me sakha jeti. Oh, Arjuna, you are my devotee and my friend. And when friendship comes, guess what happens? We share secrets. So when the devotee comes to the level of friendship with Krishna, Krishna reveals secret of devotional service to him. And when one progresses on the path of friendship, then one becomes protective of the person who's his friend with. So if someone says anything bad about our friend, we become protective about them. So that is called vatsalya, parental bhava, parental emotional. Parents are always protective of their children. And then the next progressive stage is madhurya. And all of it includes the subsets below. For dasya includes shanta, appreciation. Sakya includes dasya and shanta. Vatsalya, parental, includes dasya, shanta, and sakya. And conjugal also includes all of these steps below. And this is how the devotee experiences great pleasure. Yes, Prabhu, go ahead. Any questions?
Prabhu,
Prabhu,
I've
I
got a
have-
question. Mataji, carry on.
Yes. Prabhu, you know how you mentioned these are progressive stages? Is it not okay to be only in the dasya ras? Is it necessary that because I always thought they are not progressive stages, they are our relationship with Krishna. Some might be a servant, someone might be into the friendly rasa. So, but you mentioned that they're progressive stages. So is it not okay just to be in the dasya ras? And is it like as we progress, will our relationship change? Or can dasya be an eternal relationship?
They can be progressive.
Okay.
It is not satiated. They can be progressive. So, as you rightly mentioned, some people always will be in Dasya Bhava. Some people always will be in Sakya Bhava. However, they can be progressive as well. And as followers of Mahaprabhu, as Mahaprabhu says, Gopi Bharta Pad Kamalayo Dasa Dasanu Dasa. We are aspiring to follow the footsteps of the gopis in conjugal love. We may not be established in conjugal love. However, our appreciation that being the highest mellow of devotional service, even if we are situated in Shanta or Dasya, is good enough. And we do our service according to our level.
Thank you, Prabhu. So which means if we are progressing, then our relationship will progress. We won't be in just Dasya Ras, like we'll progress.
It's up to Krishna.
Okay.
It's up to Krishna whether he wants to pick us up. We will be satisfied in Dasya. The common denominator for all of these rasas, except for Shanta, is service. So when we do service, if Krishna becomes pleased with us, it is up to Krishna to pick us up from his lotus feet and embrace us as a friend or embrace us as a lover. It's up to him. We cannot dictate.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
Yes, Jamatagni Prabhu.
Prabhu, you were explaining the definition of ātmārāmas. So basically they have Brahma Jnana. So that means they are Jnana yogis, yes?
Yes, basically, yeah.
Yeah. So what about Ashtanga yogis or Siddhi, the one who are trying to get the Siddhis? So are they also covered in that or they are separate? Like in the ātmārāmas, in reference to ātmārāma.
Yeah. So in reference to ātmārāma, self-realized. So ātmārāma, when we look at first part, there are I think 7 meanings given to ātmārāma, which is described as it can be, on the level of soul, on the level of intelligence, in the level of mind, in the level of body, and so forth. In this instance, ātmārāma is described at the level of soul. So in terms of Ashtanga Yogi, it is said that the 8 perfection siddhis, they come in between the yogi and the Lord. If somehow or the other the yogis are able to resist the temptation of becoming proud of these 8 perfections of mystic yogi, then they can actually, through Ashtanga yoga stage, become established in supreme absolute truth. What is that last verse of 6th chapter, which says that the perfection of all yoga is always to remember Krishna? Anyone has that? Yoginam api sarvesham yad mad antar gate nana shraddhayan vo bhajate mam te me yukto tamamataha. I think that's the verse. Yoginam api sarvesham. So even the perfection of yogis, when shraddhavan yo bhajate mam, they worship Krishna, and they're abiding in Krishna. Mad gate antaratmana. So ātmārāma, but mad gate antaratmana, having Krishna. So then they become ātmārāma. But if they are only concentrating on the perfection of the 8 siddhis, becoming lighter than air, heavier than mountain, and so, there is a great risk that they will deviate, and their pride may actually be offensive, like Durvasa Muni. He was a perfect yogi, but he offended the great devotee of the Lord Amrish Maharaj. And at the end of the day, he was so powerful, he was able to go to Brahmaloka, Maheshaloka, Shivaloka, and even Vaikuntha. But Krishna told him that you have, Narayana told him, you offended my devotee. And only if he forgives you or accepts you, I cannot do anything. Krishna says that sadhuam hridayam mayam, sadhunam hridayam tvaham, mad anya te na janati, naham tebhyo managapi. That the sadhus, the devotees, are in my heart, and I am in the heart of devotee. Apart from me, those sadhus, those devotees don't know anything, and I also don't know anything apart from them. So yeah, so yogi falls in a bit different category. Therefore, it is said bhukti, the sense enjoyer, siddhi, the yogis, mukti, those who are after liberation, sakali ashanta. They're always ashanta. They're not peaceful, unless and until their endeavors culminate in kurvanti ahaitukim bhaktim, as is said in the verse here. They do active devotional service unto Krishna somehow or the other. Kurvanti ahaitukim bhaktim itham bhuta guno harihi. Unless they give themselves opportunity, harihi. Is that okay, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhu, yes. And I've got one small thing as well, another. We discussed the 5 rasas. So because the dasyam is the second rasa, can we say because devotional service has service in it, basically bhakti only starts from dasya? Can we say that?
Well, that's what you mentioned. The common denominator in all aspects is dasya, is service. And even in Shanta, the service there is appreciation.
But can it be called devotional service?
Yes, it is part of devotional service.
It is part of devotional service.
Shanta, yeah.
The appreciation is the service. Okay.
Yeah. Shanta also means, Shanta also refers to like trees, any paraphernalia which is used in service of Krishna. That's also called Shanta Rasa, because they are in spiritual touch, they become active.
Sure, Prabhu. Thank you.
Please go ahead, Prabhuji.
According to Hari Bhakti Sudhodaya, the import of the word itham bhuta is complete bliss, transcendental bliss in the realization of impersonal Brahman becomes comparable to the scanty water contained in the pit made by a cow's hoof. It is nothing compared with the ocean of bliss of the vision of the personality of Godhead. The personal form of Lord Sri Krishna is so attractive that it comprehends all attraction, all bliss, and all taste, rasa. These attractions are so strong that no one wants to exchange them for material enjoyment, mystic powers, and liberation. There is no need of logical arguments in support of this statement, but out of one's own nature, one becomes attracted by the qualities of Lord Sri Krishna. We must know for certain that the qualities of the Lord have nothing to do with the mundane qualities. All of them are full of bliss, knowledge, and eternity. There are innumerable qualities of the Lord, and one is attracted by one quality while another is attracted by another. Great sages such as the 4 bachelor devotees, Sanaka, Sanatana, Sananda, and Sanat Kumara, were attracted by the fragrance of flowers and tulsi leaves anointed with the pulp of sandalwood offered at the lotus feet of the Lord. Similarly, Sūta Gosvāmī was attracted by the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. Sūta Gosvāmī was already situated in the liberated stage, yet he was attracted by the pastimes of the Lord. This proves that the quality of his pastimes has nothing to do with material affinity. Similarly, the young cowherd damsels were attracted by the bodily features of the Lord, and Rukmini was attracted by hearing about the glories of the Lord. Lord Krishna attracts even the mind of the goddess of fortune. He attracts, in special cases, the minds of all young girls. He attracts the minds of the elderly ladies by parental affection. He attracts the minds of the males in the humors of servitude and friendship.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So, sorry, go ahead, Prabhuji. Read one more paragraph.
The word Hari conveys various meanings, but the chief import of the word is that he, the Lord, vanquishes everything inauspicious and takes away the mind of the devotee by avoiding pure transcendental love. By remembering the Lord in the acute distress, one can be free from all varieties of miseries and anxieties. Gradually, the Lord vanquishes all obstacles on the path of devotional service of a pure devotee. And the result of 9 uh, devotional activities, such as hearing and chanting, becomes manifested.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So, Itham Bhuta Guno Harihi. So, in this page, that last line is explained. So, Itham Bhuta Guno, the transcendental qualities of Krishna are so blissful that the Bhoganandi, sense gratification, is just one drop in the ocean compared to liberation or Brahmanandi. Very nicely it is mentioned, Tatala Sankate Vari Bindu Samputra Sūta Dararamni Samaje. What we are trying to do in the material world, extract pleasure from wife, from children, from wealth, from friendship, and from society. But it is Bindu, it is just a drop. And then the Brahmanandi pleasure is a drop compared to the pleasure we derive from Itham Bhuta Guno, the transcendental qualities of Krishna. And what is the proof of it? The proof of it is Sanat Kumaras, who were Brahmanandis, but simply by smelling the tulsi leaves that was offered to Krishna's lotus feet, they achieved perfection. In Srīmad Bhāgavatam, very nicely in 3:15:43, it is said, Tasya nayanasya padaravinda kinjalka mishra tulsi makarandavayu Antargate swavivarena chakara tesham samshobham akshara jusham apichitta tanvo. Their minds became attracted immediately when they smelled the Kinjalka Mishra Tulasi Makaranda Vayu. When the sweet breeze Makaranda Vayu brought the smell of Kinjalka Mishra Tulasi, the Tulsi leaves, and they smelled it, which was offered to Padaravinda, the lotus feet of Krishna. So Hari means one who conquers. So he conquered the Sūta Gosvāmīs through the smell. And then the gopis, Shri Anga Rupe Hari Gopa Gopikara Kama, Gopikara Mana. He conquered the minds of the gopis by giving them his audience. When the gopis saw Krishna, they could not help, but they completely were conquered by the transcendental beauty and the form of Krishna. That beauty cannot even be compared in the material world. And Rukmini and Sūta Gosvāmī, their minds were conquered, Harihi, by just the process of hearing. Shukadeva Mana Harila Lila Shravana, simply by hearing the pastimes of Krishna, and that too only in 2 verses of Srīmad Bhāgavatam. Srīmad Bhāgavatam has 18 verses, but 2 verses were enough to completely attract the mind of Sūta Gosvāmī. And Vamshi Gite Hare Krishna Lakshmi Adi Ramana, and simply by playing the flute, he attracted the minds of goddess of fortune many times. And I would like to end by this verse in Srīmad Bhāgavatam. This mind is about the attractive feature of the Lord. and how he attracts everyone. Kastringate kalapadamrita venu geetam. So when Krishna plays Venu Geetam, his flute, Sammohitarya Charitanna Chale Trilokyam, all over the three worlds, no one can resist him. Trailokya Saubhagamidam na Nirikshya Rupam Yad Godvija Drumamriga Pulakan Abhibran. The translation: My dear Lord Krishna, where is that woman within the three worlds who would not be captivated by the rhythms of the sweet songs coming from your wonderful flute? Who would not fall down from the path of chastity in that way? Your beauty is the most sublime within the three worlds. Upon seeing your beauty, even cows, birds, animals, and trees in the forest become stunned in jubilation. What is so beautiful about this is that, let alone the human beings, even the cows, the birds, the animals, the deers, the trees become stunned in jubilation, hearing Krishna's flute and seeing his beauty. Itham bhuta guno harihi. So one more paragraph of this verse is remaining, and we'll continue tomorrow. Thank you so much, Prabhus and Matajis, for your attentive hearing. Jai. Grantaraj Srīmad Bhāgavatam ki Jai.
Jai.
Thanks,
Prabhu.
Ki Jai.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Wonderful.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare
you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you.
Hare Krishna.